Women and money. There you go. Well, I don't understand. I really don't. Well, you probably can't afford it because you're not getting that raise. Ha! Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all having a lovely Monday. This week I'm going to talk about women and money. And this is something I've recently become really interested in and I'm fascinated by, and I just think it's something that we should all just be talking about. So my attempt today is just to bring it up, have a convo, and make it this normal thing, because it is. So today I won't even be getting involved in really the whole wage gap thing. Obviously these are feminist videos and it's a huge feminist issue, but that's not even what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm just going to be talking about more basically and more generally what women are worth and how we look at money and our attitude towards it, and how I think that maybe might need to change, and how that might help us all in the long run, which could affect the wage gap down the line. But today it's just going to be a bit more general and a bit more just kind of chatty convo. So what's kind of gotten me into it lately is one person in particular. So does everyone know Samantha Barry? She is from Cork in Ireland, but she's now the editor-in-chief of Glamour magazine in New York. So she's like super like inspiring and all this lovely stuff, and she's great and she's fab, but she really talks about money all the time. And honestly, it was something that I never thought about. I'm 26, like I don't think a lot of people my age, or women in general, think about this or talk about money. So she's really on the bandwagon of it. And it's super important for women to talk about that. It's smart and it's, you know, just a really important thing to do. So the more I kind of listen to her, I'm like, oh my god, she's so right, and I need to kind of get involved on this one. So yeah, so she's great. So everyone, if you don't know her, you should go look her up. But basically recently as well, they've started a podcast. So it's like Glamour magazine and iHeartRadio doing a podcast called She Makes Money Moves, and I've been listening to that and it's really interesting. It's basically like real life stories of real women talking about their money and their financial situations, and then they have basically a financial expert on giving advice, and it's just really interesting. That's just something tangible that you can go look and see that they're doing, and listen to it, and just, yeah, start even the conversation in your mind. You can also watch this video and that will also start the conversation in your mind. So there you go. So I think one of the reasons why I also wanted to add my voice to the mix is because, like, we are so afraid of talking about money. I don't understand. Like, it was something I never got. Like, I'm the kind of person where I'm very like, I don't really know, I don't, basically I can't lie. It's like this thing that I can't lie, I can't keep secrets, I just don't really understand the point. And it was something that, like, even growing up, I would be very honest with people, you know, like, you know, like when you were shopping with your friends and they'd say like, oh, how do I look? And I would no bother say that doesn't suit you, you know, it's just my kind of personality. And I guess, like, over the years I've learned that, like, some people don't like the honesty, but some people do, but that's just who I am. So the money thing, it was something I never understood, why we were all not talking about money and why it was all like, shh. I don't get that. If you ask me right now what I make, I would tell you. I'm not saying it right now, but if anyone asked me, I would just say it, no bother. Like, I don't really understand the point of it. I don't really understand what's so awkward. And I would love for people to tell me. If you have comments, please tell me, because I really don't understand. And I think it should be this normal conversation for men and women. I don't really get it. So that's kind of the starting point of this video. But one thing that I read recently was when people are asking for raises in work, for example, someone was like your boss or whoever you're asking for the raise for, they want you to be uncomfortable talking about money. It's in their interests for us all to not talk about money, because we're so awkward about it. But if we were more comfortable about it, we'd say, yeah, hi, can I get this raise? I've done this, I'm great, there you go. But it's literally feeding into their interests for us all to be so awkward about it and not talk about it. And I'm so passionate about us all just talk. I don't understand, I really don't. So, like, if anything, I just think we should talk about it for that reason, that, like, it literally benefits a certain group of people when we don't talk about money. And, like, fuck them, you know what I mean? No, like, I mean, it should be this absolutely normal thing. You should be able to go in and say, I want this, do you think I could have this? I've done this for you, do you think I'm worth this much? It should be this absolutely normal thing, and I'm just like, yeah, so done with it not being, like, cool and normal. And then, like, I think particularly for women, it's even worse, because one, obviously we all do know about the wage gap and that there is, like, people just don't want to pay women what they're worth. But we're also trained in general not to be too demanding, not to be too aggressive, to sit there and be, you know, pretty little girl. And so then, like, we're out in the world and we're out in the workplace and we're feeling awkward about money, and we just kind of think, oh no, well, I'm not worth that now, or, you know, that's too greedy, you know, and I shouldn't want that. And I'm so also done with that mindset for everything in life. You know, we're trained not to be ambitious. We're trained that it's unattractive. If we want something, it's unattractive to want something, which is such a silly thing when you think about it. Why can't we just say, I want a raise, I want this car, I want this extension on my house, you know, or I just want to buy a pair of sunglasses that are really nice and fancy. And like, why is it also embarrassing to show what you want and to be like vulnerable? And like, you know, why can't we all just be like, I want this, put yourselves out there and it'd be absolutely normal, and be like, okay, great, you want that, cool, go for it, I'm here for you. Like, I'm just, so many things that I'm just, you know, when you're growing up and you've been taught so many things and you've internalized so many things, and you're just kind of questioning everything, and you're like, oh my god, like, that's such bullshit. And I'm just so glad that I'm just becoming aware of all these things that are just silly. I think as well, it's very much a thing that you can't have it all, you know. So I think women in particular, you know, we're getting trained, or we're told that we should want a relationship, a marriage, you know, children, and we're kind of told that, oh well, you can't have it all now, you know, you can't have your successful job and also your husband, you can't like own your own business but also have a kid that you love. Like, we're just kind of told this all the time, and again, it's just so silly and not true. One, because I think that having it all is half the time a mindset. You know, people literally could have everything in the world and still feel like they don't have enough. So one, like, as a mindset, it is possible to have it all and be happy. But also, no, I totally just resent that narrative that we can't have a family and a business and be happy all at the same time. No, I don't buy it. So don't you buy it either. Well, you probably can't afford it because you're not getting that raise. Ha! No. I think as well, like, one thing I wanted to say is, like, you know, say if you're in a job and you're wanting the raise, and it's half the time it's not even about like the actual money itself, it's about what the money represents. And I think that's what kind of gets me. It's like, if you're not, you know, being paid enough, and you're like, okay, well, sure, I have loads of money to begin with, but it's like, if you don't give me the raise, do you not think that I'm good enough, or do you not, like, you don't value me? And I think that's what it really comes down to. It's like, it's not even about the actual tangible amount of money sometimes, it's just about what it represents. And I think money is a really good way of rewarding people for their job. You know, that there are so many ways to, like, that people are kind of like paying their employees now, you know, with like health insurance and, or giving them stock in the company and all these different things. But I think, like, when it really comes down to it, like, the number that's going into your bank account is really reflective of how much the company values you. And if it's low, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's not very nice, you know, like, just on that front alone, it's like, yeah, you might be so successful and you might be so good at your job and you might think, yeah, I deserve this. But it's like, if your boss doesn't recognize that, it's like, what? And so, you know, like, this video really is just having a conversation about it and getting people to just be less awkward about money. But like, one kind of tangible tip that I wanted to, you know, give women in particular, but this can go for anyone. You know, if you're in a job and you say, do you want to raise, like, find out what your colleagues are making. And again, like, your bosses don't want you to talk with your colleagues about money. They want you to be awkward about money. So they don't want you to talk with your colleagues about it. And so if you're awkward and you don't find out what they're making, and say if they're making 3 times as much as you for the same job or similar or whatever, and you don't ask them, then you don't know, and then you don't ask for your loan based on that new information, that feeds into the company, that feeds into the bosses. And so again, like, just don't be awkward about it, you know? Try and find out from your colleagues. And one story that Samantha Barry always says is that when she was looking for a raise in one of her old jobs, you know, she took her male colleagues out, like, for a few drinks, got them a bit tipsy, and asked them how much they were making, and that gave her the confidence to then go in and say, well, you know, not even in a way that you'd go in and you'd say, oh, well, so-and-so's making this, because that's not really a good strategy, but at least you know that behind you, and it's kind of like, okay, you know, okay, so-and-so's making this, and so I know that it's possible for them to pay me this, because they're paying him, but also it just gives you that kind of fire in your belly. Like you can go in and you can say all these other things, but it gives you kind of like the belief, because you can say like, oh, I'm great at my job, but I've done this, but you may not necessarily really believe it. But I think being armed with the information of what your other colleagues are making, and if it's more, you have that kind of inside you and you're like, okay, no, this will give me the strength that I need to go in there and be like, woohoo, give me money. And bottom line, I think it's just like, in general, for women, we need to know our worth. As we all know, women are still the ones who do the majority of unpaid housework and unpaid care work and just unpaid work in the world. But I think bottom line is know your worth and know what you're valued. And I think like, and it's easier said than done, but if your boss or someone doesn't value you, bye-bye, you know? I think, and that's true with anything, with friendships, with relationships, like know your worth and know that you are good and know that you work hard and you put effort into everything you do. And if someone doesn't value that, then they're lost. And as I said, like easier said than done for jobs and stuff. Maybe if you need to work a few months to build up enough money for you to be able to leave a job or do something, but I just think like, you're not being valued, bye-bye. So everyone, on that lovely note, that is this week's video. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. If you are like me and you don't get why everyone's so awkward about talking about money, or if you are awkward, why, like, what are some of the obstacles to getting over this? I'm just so interested, and I really, like, when the whole money conversation was sparked in my head, I was like, I want to talk about this, and I want this to be more of a thing that we all talk about. And yeah, I'm just super passionate about it. So thank you so much again for watching. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like my page, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!